To release the active ingredients from cannabis, the THC, you have decarboxylize it at 180 degrees. But fibers are burning at 230 degrees. So this is your temperature window, what you can use to extract the active ingredients without having to burn it. And this was the initial idea. And from there, the development started. And 4 years later, there was then the volcano available. And then it was clear that if you don't burn it, the taste is much better and it's a much better experience.
Hey everyone, welcome to our latest Trade to Black podcast. And today we're talking about products and really the most technologically advanced vaporizer in the world. What is it? Well, let's welcome in. He is the co-founder of Storz Bickel, Jürgen Bickel. Good to see you, part of Canopy Growth story, but it's great to actually get a chance to meet you and learn more about your products. How are things?
Yes, hello. So thanks for having me. Yeah, happy to join the call today.
Yeah. So this is an interesting product. As I said off the top, it states on your website that this is the most advanced technologically vaporizer in the world. What makes you think that?
Yeah, of course, it makes me think the 23 years of experience and all the things we have seen and all the feedback and success we had at this time make me think that we clearly have the best technology available. We started with the development in 1996 when my partner at the time, Markus Storz, he started to develop the really famous Volcano Vaporizer.
Yeah.
Came out in 2000 on the market. And of course, I was one of the first clients at that time to buy one. And shortly later, I joined Markus to found SMB. And of course, from the very beginning, the core essence of our products until today was the performance of the devices, the great taste of devices, the reliability, the quality. This was from the very beginning, let's say, the hallmark of SMB, what we have. And until today, this has not changed until the recent launch of the VENTY Vaporizer.
1996.
So with
it's early. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously the volcano is iconic. Like it's had staying power in the industry since. How has it progressed over time? Like how is the device different, let's say today, from when it first came into the market, let's say in 2020 or 2000? Has there been like technological advances that have taken place inside the device? Because from an outside cosmetically, it still looks very much the same.
Yeah, of course, the Volcano Classic is still on the market today. Of course, a really impressive product life cycle, with 24 years still and still highly demanded. Of course, they changed things like the bottom was from metal. It's out of plastic on from today because it's electrically more safe, and then internally they have changed things, different air pumps we have used. Then over time we have used or developed different valve system from the solid valve to the easy valve. Then we have brought out the Volcano Digit, who is a little bit more accurate than the Volcano Classic. The one is B-metal regulated, the other is digital regulated. And then over time, a few years ago, we have brought up the Volcano Hybrid, where you then not can only fill balloons, where you can also draw directly from it. And so it was improved over time, always to be stand up with state of the art. But from the outside, yes, it's correct. It still looks the same. It has still its iconic look, and you have still the balloon, but it's still, and it is still great device, and it is still the unbeaten vaporizer on the world, I would say.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of methods of consumption that we see across the cannabis space. Like what are the advantage of a hot air vaporization method to consuming cannabis?
I would say it's clearly the superior application form of cannabis. Yeah, clearly, if you the one thing you can eat it, something like that, or you can inhale it. Inhale it is always better. If you inhale it, of course, you can use some concentrates, so you don't know what is really inside. You can smoke it, what is also not really a nice way to do it. And of course, you can vaporize it. And vaporization, it's cleaner, it's more healthy, it has a better taste, it's more effective. It has much less odor than left over in the room. So it's the overall much better experience, and the most people who come from wherever they come, from smoking or from where they come, of course, they feel it immediately. Once you have vaporization experience with our devices, you have this great taste. It's a taste like it's almost smells, it's the terpene profile is much better. So it's overall a clear, superior application form.
Well, I've got mine at home, and I can assure you, it's the best method I've used as far as consumption goes. I got rid of all my other devices.
Wow.
That's purely what I've been using. How did that device come to be? Because that device, from a form factor perspective, the VENTY, it works. It blew my mind in terms of the just the ease of use and the consistency of it. And it's so much smaller than what you see in the Volcano. How much more technologically advanced is that device than, let's say, the Volcano?
Yeah, I would say this divide, I would say you could say is the quintessence of our experience,
Right.
over more than 20 years, what we have learned on. Of course, from the Volcano, we went later on to mobile devices, to Crafty and Mighty. And then back in 2017, still with Marcus, we said, okay, what we are still missing? And there was two things we are missing. It was heat up time and it was airflow. And so we tried to improve that. And this we have done with the VENTY. And the device is really that you can really draw so much air and heat the whole system up in only 20 seconds. There you have to use a lot of electric power. You have to use batteries who really are able to discharge at the 20 amp rate, what is really a lot on the mobile devices. And we have developed a whole new heating technology. And this has altogether has come to the VENTY. And the VENTY, like your feedback, the feedback overall from the whole industry, from all of our clients, overwhelming positive. Yeah, the whole experience is very good. It's like almost, you could say, a mobile Volcano. It's still, I would say the Volcano has some advantages, but it is at that level, and we are really very proud that we have reached the performance of the VENTY and could provide that device to our clients.
Yeah, it's funny because I've brought it around to a lot of people and they look at it first and they're like, "What's this?" They're like, "It looks like a taser, like it looks like something else." Then they try the product and their face changes completely.
Yeah.
They're like, it tastes completely different. It's not harsh, and it's a great experience with using the actual device. And I mean, I know it's one thing that the Volcanoes achieved medical device status in countries such as Germany and Australia. Does the VENTY does that apply to the VENTY as well, or is that uniquely to the Volcano? And I guess walk us through how that came to be as a medical device.
Yeah, of course, the VENTY at the moment, in the VENTY, we have decided to go first to the road of the UL certification, the UL 8139. This is a vaporization norm who not a lot of companies look after it, but we have to make this route, as a first certification process. And we are now thinking about to put it on a medical device level. It is more an administrative task now to put it on a medical device level. Then we would miss anything, we have everything to really become a medical device. I mean, if you look to how you become a medical device, your whole company must be certified to ISO 3485. This is a quality management system. Then you must have a device built technically to a respective norm. And then you have to prove that you have a health benefit, that your risk to benefit ratio is positive for your device. And all this we would have available for the VENTY. So most probably we will go after it in a short period of time.
One thing I wanted to ask real quick is 1996, you got into the industry. This is well before any conversations related to a medical legal market or even a recreational legal market. Like, where did the idea come from? Because this is well ahead of the curve.
Yeah, Marcus saw an article in a hemp magazine, and there was a guy, he was called Eagle Billy, was sitting in Amsterdam, and he was using a heat gun with a bong, and of course it was a strange setup, but it showed that you can use cannabis without having to smoke it.
Yeah.
Marcus was a non-smoker, so this was very interesting from the very beginning, to release the active ingredients from cannabis, the THC, you have decarboxylize it at 180 degrees. But fibers are burning at 230 degrees. So this is your temperature window, what you can use to extract the active ingredients without having to burn it. And this was the initial idea. And from there, the development started. And 4 years later, there was then the Volcano available. And then it was clear that if you don't burn it, the taste is much better and it's a much better experience.
Huh.
Yeah, it's superior. On the VENTY, I use it at about 210, and it's consistent every time. So, I mean, you were acquired by Canopy Growth in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. How's it been working with Canopy Growth? And I guess how did that acquisition come to be?
Yeah, okay. Overall, a great experience. Meanwhile, I'm also a member of the executive leadership team of Canopy. It was a great experience. Of course, at the beginning, you need to get to know each other and need to get to align on certain things. But after a short period of time, it was clear for Canopy that SMB is one of their great assets they have. We are still very independent because, of course, SMB, with all the certification and all the things we have and all the production in-house, made in Germany, we need something to be really together. And SMB is practically working more or less the same pace that it has done before. Of course, together with Canopy and having a different presences worldwide, where it helps. But we have still our development team here. So the VENTY was developed under the canopy of Canopy, and so it was really a good experience. We still work really great together. So it's more that I'm also being part of Canopy more and more and the leadership team. And so of course we could also expand the factory at the time. There was an investment, an early one, to have a bigger infrastructure, what is very useful as of today. And so overall, yes, I would say great experience, and we are looking forward to a great future.
And then, I mean, with Canopy, I mean, they have a global presence. Cannabis is becoming a global story, especially as we just saw regulations lift in Germany. The U.S. is working on that. What's the strongest market for S&B right now? Like, where are you seeing the most penetration, and where do you see the most growth coming going into the future?
Yeah, of course, always our base market, our most important market was the US. This was from the very beginning, early on when we built 110 volt models from the volcano. That's where the story really started to pick up. Europe is also really strong. Canada itself is also strong. Australia is recently very strong. Together with Canopy, they have a subsidiary there and a presence there. So together with them, we are developing Australia in a great way. So these are the main markets. And of course, in the last 5 years, we sold more than 1 million devices in more than 100 countries. This shows a little bit the global presence of SMB. And overall, you can say, of course, cannabis is used throughout the world. There is independent from the legal situation throughout the world. You see people are using it medically, recreationally, whatever. And our devices are also present in the whole world. Also South America is nice. Of course, these are not the biggest countries, but every country is important to us, and every customer is important to us. And so really it's, we love this being a global brand and having really this global presence and having a lot of global feedback, and you have everywhere you got more or less the same feedback, because cannabis users around the world are not differ a lot. They all know exactly what they want. They know exactly what they expect, and if if a device or devices like ours deliver that, of course, then you have also this great satisfaction.
You said 2017, right, Anthony? The company got bought out.
I think it was 2018.
2018. 6th of December.
How much more advanced do you think the industry as a whole, as far as awareness? Because we all know, like, consumers are learning more and more, and as they start to learn more, they want to obviously sample different devices, and they want to obviously know what is, the best advanced, as I said off the top. So from the time that you had the acquisition to where we are now, how much awareness do you think this industry has definitely grown in the past 6 or 7 years?
Yeah, you saw a lot of growth, and you saw a lot of growing awareness. You have Canada in that time period. You have a lot of advancements in the US itself in different states. Of course, then people have legal access, and then people have also a different access. In countries where it's not legal and you don't know what is really what you get. It's much different if you can buy from a store and everything is approved, and exact content of active ingredients of THC, of CBD, and so on. It's also much safer than to use. So awareness has grown a lot. There was also different consumption form who came up. You saw like 510K and things like that. Edibles are more and more there. People are still smoking, but overall, I think the story of cannabis, if you looked at it from 1996, where California legalized medical use, now until today, it doesn't go really very fast. There was maybe some time where people thought it will go from today to tomorrow and everything will explode. This has not happened. but it is a growing story steadily over time. You know, you have, let's say, Germany, medical legally from 2017. No, hopefully going into effect at 1st of April and having then also recreationally on a small level, but it is available. And you see other countries discussing it a lot and having the advancement. So I would say it goes always in the right direction. We had not one thing where it really makes a step back, but the steps going a little bit slower than everybody thought it would
be. Consumers are becoming more sophisticated, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Of course, you have also, I mean, look back to the 2000s, you don't even have really a lot of internet available and see what information you can get online as of today. You know, I mean, 1996, you had to buy a book, you know, on a bookstore to get information how to grow cannabis and what you can get on information today and all the forums, you know, there's a lot of Reddit, fuck combustion, whatever, you know, where people are talking in really very, very detail. Sometimes we are really impressed and how much technical detail the customers are talking and knowing. And so really great to see.
So speaking about Germany, I mean, I know that we have that pending legislation that might get implemented on April 1st. I mean, what's your take on that? Do you think that they get it done this time, or do you think it kind of gets extended out? Because I know that there was a little bit of turmoil with the Bundestag and getting actually what they wanted across the finish line.
Yeah, so Federal Parliament had voted in favor, so this is done. So now we have the second chamber, the representation of the states. There the vote will be the 22nd of March.
Yeah,
they do not have really to approve it, but they can prolong it, and they can say, "Oh no, we need to talk about it," and can prolong it. And once it gets in a prolongation, then you don't know what is really happening. So 22nd of March is the real date. If it comes into effect, it's already immediately 1st of April. You know, it's really done very fast. Not a lot of preparation time. This is what also a lot of people are criticizing, you know. And if it comes, then what you can do, you can have 3 plants at home. You can grow, do homegrown. This is allowed. And you can create a social club where you can grow together, you know, for a maximum of 500 members in a club. This is like, say, the 2 things you can do. And you can have up to 25 grams with you when you are outside. You know, these are the main things. So it's not a big step where you have really shops available and these things, you know, but it's at the same time, I would say it is a big step for Germany, you know, to make,
of course.
It will be a big signal to the whole Europe and the whole rest of the world that you can do it maybe at least on a lower, or let's say on a smaller level, but you can do it, you know. And once Germany, especially in Europe, this will be a big signal, and I really expect then afterwards, and as I said, a little bit more slowly, step by step, but a lot of countries will follow.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is the first step in incremental reform in Germany? Like we'll eventually see like a mature adult use market, like what you see in like California with like adult use shops and like true recreational cannabis? Or do you think they kind of let this sit for a while and then figure it out?
Yeah, so it's the same thing. It needs time, you know. People will need to get used to it, and people will need to get away with their fears. You know, I mean, there's a lot of concern, fear, what will happen, and then there's a lot of things what people believe. But we see in reality in different states in the United States and in Canada, you see that there's not happening too much. You know, that is not that. You know, a lot of people will still not use cannabis. The people who are using it will using on a safer way, more informed way, more educated way. So overall, I believe it will be positive, and it will be seen as positive. And then there is clearly imaginable that there comes further steps of saying, okay, we can allow edibles, we can allow shops, we can allow a little bit more commercialization. Of course, if you put everything in a social club, this is not the most professional way to grow cannabis. You know, you can do this a little bit better. So yeah, hopefully there are further steps are following.
Jürgen, what's the general like perception of cannabis amongst Europeans, would you say, right now?
Oh, I mean, here it's available since like everywhere. You know, it's available since a lot of time. You know,
but is there a lot more precaution, like less education over there compared to like say consumers in North America, or would you say it's the same?
No, maybe a little bit less. You know, a little bit more conservative, a little bit also more hesitant to try out something new. Then you have also traditionally a little bit the strange use together with tobacco, you know, because of all the hashish that came from North Africa
Right.
before, there's a little bit things like that, so it's a little bit less, I would say, but overall it is also growing, you see also if you look to the inquiries, the public inquiries over time, you get it higher and higher and higher, not so much of a rate like in the US where a lot of people are in favor. I think you are more than 60, 10 trending towards 70%. You are still around 50% in favor of it, but it's going the same direction. I would say overall Europe mostly goes in the same direction like North America, a little bit behind, a little bit slower, but it's the same direction.
No, I can hear you there. Where do you think the European cannabis market is 5 years from now? Like, do you think it one day reaches its full potential that many are anticipating or hoping?
Yeah, I think so. But what we need is really some good examples like Germany. It doesn't help a lot if Luxembourg is doing something. It must be, the biggest player here in the on the continent. And if we do it, and if we do it right, then this can be a good, positive example. And then other are following: Spain, Portugal, easy. Czech Republic, very in favor.
Yeah.
Other Eastern country, Poland, maybe a little bit slower. But once you have a positive example, other will follow. And once, it's available, and once it's not so much more, let's say, a criminal, a police issue, it's more like maybe a health issue from time to time, then things will getting easier. And then we will get access. And then at some point, of course, on the European Union, what it needs to take place is a change of the Schengen Treaty, for the borders. This is in a moment a little bit in the way to do further steps, besides of the UN Convention. But this is one thing who could go in a good direction. And if maybe the US also reschedules, also do something, you will see over time, we always go in the right direction with cannabis, just a little bit slow. But 5 years from now, you will have a much different market here.
Yeah, that's for
sure. I know the obviously the VENTY was the latest splash for S&B. What does the future look like? Like what gets you excited? Like what's on the horizon for S&B moving forward?
Yeah, of course, we are developing new products. Obviously, we still are looking a little bit, if you look at what we would say today, what is missing, maybe we could look a little bit to size and we could look a little bit to price. Yeah, those are two things what we could look at it, But yeah, on the midterm, I would say what we are going to look at will be maybe the first time that we look at concentrates, and what we can do with that. There's a lot of things available and everything is not really so convincing at the moment. 510K is not convincing. Other things, everything is burning. Of course, one great hit, but with a little bit taste and you don't know what is really in it. So I think there is really there is room for improvement, and I think there's something what we can surprise the public.
Yeah. One thing I want to outline is Q3 FY 2024 revenue increased 54% sequentially, and it was driven by sales of the new VENTY portable vaporizer. So it's working, and as we've touched on a lot, just how more and more consumers are becoming more and more sophisticated. Is this your lead model as far as your portfolio moving into the future?
Yeah, I would say so. Of course, before the VENTY, it was the Mighty Blast, who was our biggest seller. So of course, VENTY is taking it over, but going a step further, because you have a few small disadvantages of the Mighty Blast you don't have available anymore. So the advantages with the airflow and with the heat up time. The heat up time is really very important, and people are really loving it, because it gives you a different use case a little bit, because you use it more often, it's not really, it's still, you can say a session vape, but the sessions are really very fast, 20 seconds. It's almost nothing to start it up. So the VENTY will clearly be our new, let's say, bread and butter device, and it will be our technologically leading device. We will together with the Volcano hybrid, which is also, especially in the Onyx edition, very asked for. Yeah, and then I would say we will work on our new things and make the portfolio round and having maybe something entry level. But yeah, so VENTY is a huge success. I have to say personally, I was very convinced from the device but we have almost no negative feedback at all. It's everything positive wherever we go. Yeah, it's really astonishing. I was asked what was my biggest experience on my roadshow with the VENTY, and I said it was the VENTY itself, because it was so positively received, and everywhere I go today, great. So it's really a huge success, and this will be, of course, also a great future for S&B then.
Also,
because the biggest problem with cannabis devices is consistency. I've used a bunch of them. I've tried a bunch of them, and it's always consistency. It works great when you first use it, and then it eventually just the quality deteriorates. With this thing, it's 2 clicks, 20 seconds, and same thing every single time.
Yeah, and where it comes from, what makes our devices really special, it's a temperature control, you don't have a lot of fluctuation, and this comes from the convection technology. We primarily use convection. Of course, you have always a conduction part to preheat the material and the whole device, but then the vaporization itself is purely convection, and this others that do not use, and then they'll reach this level of exactitude. And this exactness in the temperature, this gives the great taste, and this gives the reliability, and therefore you can repeat it very easily, and you get always the same experience. It's not one time like this, one time like this. No, it's very consistent, and it's very tasty, and this is what the people really love.
It's great. German engineering. Things are done in the world, but just a little bit better in Germany, right?
They're trying to.
Last thing I'll leave you with, when we look back, at 2018, when the acquisition was made, like, were you surprised to get the call from Canopy? Like, were you fielding a lot of calls from companies that were looking to acquire you within the industry?
No, we actually don't get a lot of calls. We got just one call. Of course, I already knew Bruce Linden. I also knew his German representative here. And when he called me, he thought he wanted to go to dinner with me. I immediately knew what he was asking for. And at that time, Markus Storz and myself, Markus Storz is a little bit older than myself, and he was already thinking about retirement and was a little bit less interested to being so operational. And then there came the offer, and the offer was good, was great, and and then we said, okay, yes, let's do it. Why not? It's and it was we are very, very fine with it. Markus is very fine with this, enjoying his retirement. I'm still here, still leading the company. Yeah, still being the managing director. Yeah, also being a part of Canopy now, and this is also positive. So overall, this was the right call at the right moment, and I think it was a win-win situation. Of course, we were happy. Canopy was happy. I think this is one of the acquisitions of Canopy who really worked very well.
Yeah.
And I think one thing of S&B is always trying to do win and win situations. We're doing it with our customers. We are not maybe the cheapest one, but really everybody who has bought a device from us never had regretted it. It is a win-win situation. A win for S&B as a company, and a win for the customer to have a great and reliable device.
Well, Black Friday is a big day in the U.S., and you just reported your most successful Black Friday sales event last fall. So Americans love good products. They're showing that right now, and I think the current management is showing that the U.S. is a major priority. There's some news, obviously, coming down with the SEC a little bit later on this month. They're going into next, but a big opportunity with you, the current management, in the U.S. market. And if we get some legislation news in the next little bit, it'll make it even that much better. But listen, I think one of the main reasons we wanted today is just to find out more about specific products, why they're good, why they're selling, and more importantly, how it's growing and aligning with the overall sophistication of consumers and how the industry continues to grow. So I'm not sure if there's anything more that you wanted to touch on, Anthony, but I thought this is great.
I'm going to mind. This was very informative, much appreciated, and definitely thank you for your time. Jürgen, it's been great.
Yeah, so hey, thanks for having me. Always nice to talk and to chat about our history and about our great products.
Yes, good stuff. Let us know what you're working on next, too. 1996. I cannot believe that you got in the industry then. A little idea from Amsterdam has turned into this. But congrats. Way to be consistent, not only with your product, but your career as well. But kudos to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jürgen.
Thank you.
So what'd you all think of the interview? Did you like what we recorded with our guests? Then leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of it. And if there's any more questions you want us to ask, as usual, share this video with your network. Click on that bell for all notifications. And most importantly, subscribe to our channel because we would not be here without you. Thanks for watching, everyone.